The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson. Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Good Thursday morning, Amy Jacobson here. John Anthony from Black and Right Radio is in for Dan Proft today, and we're going to talk about your boat cruise.
Yes, coming up. September 9th, 4 to 7.
How do we...
So there's a link
Where do we register?
At 560theanswer.com/cruise. Tickets are live and ready to be sold.
Is today the first day?
Today, actually midnight. Yes, it went live. Marcus sent me a text and it's going live midnight today. Basically.
Okay. And last year I was on the boat cruise. It was wonderful.
Did you have a great time?
I did.
So
it's nice to be with like-minded people, and we had a really good time.
Had a really good time. There are two-tier tickets. One, just pay the $56. The other one, you'll get a shirt and a WIND goodie bag.
And how much is that?
Those are $90.
$90.
Yeah.
All right.
But you get an exclusive T-shirt designed by yours truly.
Oh, that's right, because you've been selling T-shirts and
blackandrightradio.com.
Blackandrightradio.com is the place to go.
I didn't say www this time.
No, you didn't, you old man. Only old people say it's www.http//
This is true.
All right, sometimes we have to think about others before ourselves, which we should do every day. Put God first.
Amen.
And one man that is doing that thing right now is Major Scott A. Huesing. He's a retired major, best-selling author of Eco and Ramadi. He's riding his Harley Davidson motorcycle across the country again, and he's raising awareness about veteran suicide. Good morning, Scott. How are you?
Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me on the show.
So you left July 18th, and where are you right now?
I am in beautiful Savannah, Georgia. We finished 9 cities, 9 days, over 3,000 miles, and we crossed the finish line yesterday afternoon with an amazing reception here in Savannah from local law enforcement, veterans, fellow riders, and some dear friends of mine. It was a long 9 days, but well worth it to connect thousands of veterans along the way.
Now, you started this ride back in 2020 to honor your high school friend. Tell us about him and why you continue to do this.
Dave White and I went to high school together right in your own backyard there in Waukegan, Illinois. That's where we grew up and where me and Dave were both born. He joined the Navy, and sadly, Dave committed suicide 4 years ago. We lost him, and his mom wanted me to give the remarks at his service. So it was the height of COVID, no flights. I hopped on my Harley, and I rode across the country and back that first year, and it's really turned into this Forrest Gump-like event. It just continues to grow each and every year as we try to get out, connect veterans and first responders and the communities together in a safe space during this ride. And it's really been great to see how people are united, because the ride itself is, although it's really physical and it's hot, it's a real unifying event, and it kind of exposes the best of the human condition to me every time I do it.
So you pick up people along the way, or they just join in for a few miles and then get out, or how does it work? What is it? Yeah,
I'm the only one so far that's crazy enough to ride from coast to coast, but in triple-digit heat. It was 121 in Wilcox, Arizona this year, the hottest it's ever been. And along the way, people will hop in, they'll hop out. Sometimes there's anywhere from 5 riders to 50 behind me, and it's something that, like I said, it just continues to grow. And everybody's welcome to join. That's the thing, is we're all-inclusive. You don't need a Harley to ride. You can ride whatever you have. Maybe you get in your pickup truck if the heat's too much, and they drive along, and then they go to these events every single city we stop in, and then we just rinse and repeat every single day and ride 300 to 500 miles. And it's something I'll probably do until I'm too old to grab the handlebars, because we had a guy out with us, Vietnam vet, His name's Gus, and he's 83.
Wow.
He rode me from Georgia all the way to Charleston, South Carolina last year, and then he showed up in Savannah last night to join me again, and that's inspiring, and we need that. I think the veterans that come out need to understand that they're doing more than just hopping on their bike one day as they take off from work to join me, but they're inspiring not only other veterans to get out and empower them to connect, but also the kids that are out there. It's inspiring for them to see the benefits of military service long after you take off the uniform. And that's really important to me, especially with this growing recruiting crisis that we have on our hands, which is a strategic imperative in many ways, to make sure that our veteran tribe is out being great ambassadors, showing young kids how much they're loved even after they get out of service. That's important.
That's true. Major, did you take Interstate 80 to come through Illinois? I'm curious.
We did not go through Illinois.
They went to Southern.
Okay, because I saw a big veteran group. It was like 40 police escort, maybe a week ago, maybe. But that's neither.
So why do you choose the month of July? Because that is the hottest month of the year, especially if you're driving through the southern desert of this great country.
Well, I didn't pick the month. The month picked me, and that's when we lost Dave. And so it's kind of become a metaphor, to be honest with you, because it's tough. It's a physical ride. It's hot. It's windy. But I'll tell you, there's worse things that people in life deal with, and not just veterans either. Everybody understands stress and trauma and depression. So we don't know the definition of those words. I get it that everybody deals with that. That's not lost on me as we connect a lot of the communities we do it. But the month of July, it showed me another thing this year. I realized that the people that ride with me during this time of the year in the heat, they're real meat eaters. I'll tell you that. It takes some real courage to get out there in that type of weather and just ride when you're doing 80 miles an hour down the freeway and it feels like you're driving into a pizza oven.
Yeah, Major, suicide is very, very near and dear to me. I actually lost my 18-year-old son to suicide back in 2021. So it's something so much so that I had a friend of mine who works in D.C. reached out to me yesterday to request to see if I wanted to head over to Israel, because I believe they're having like 40 suicides a day among their veterans and their police department. What's the number here? I remember the challenge, the 22 push-ups for 22 suicides a day. What's that number at today?
Yeah, I'm really sorry to hear about your loss.
Thank
you. You understand how personal it is. And the numbers, the statistics, the 22 a day, that's not including all of those numbers we can't capture from data that aren't registered with the VA or with the DOD. So, you've got guys that slip through the cracks. They don't register, men and women that just aren't really on the radar even. But the number itself, most say it's higher than 22 a day. But honestly, it's such a personal issue to us because I've lost so many guys under my command to suicide. The whole reason we started Save the Brave was one of my squad leaders, Simon Litkey, committed suicide, and we just flew a bunch of the Marines up to Minnesota to support the family, and that's how we were born, through that loss and tragedy. So we're really trying to prevent veteran suicide and stem that number, whatever it is. The number doesn't matter. We want to just keep connecting guys in a safe space and empower them to show them what right looks like. Like, hey, man, you can do this. You don't have to think that people aren't out there that care, because as we do this one event for Save the Brave and I ride, literally thousands of veterans and people from communities, and every time I look in my rearview mirror, that's validated because I can see a row of bikes behind me. And it looks like a parade or a procession, but it's important to inspire others that when they see that, they understand that there's communities out there that really love them and they want to help, and that's important.
Yeah, I know my good friend Congressman Mike Boss. He just had a bill amendment passed for the NDAA that talked about giving veterans who might have had breakdowns, access back again at some point for their Second Amendment right. How has Congress adapted to your message with your organization, Save the Brave? Are they helpful? Have they put up any roadblocks?
Well, the great thing about Save the Brave is, like many veteran nonprofits, is we're really filling gaps that the VA is unwilling or incapable of providing. And I think that speaks for a lot of larger, more bureaucratic organizations that just aren't designed to fill certain needs. So there's over 45,000 veteran service organizations registered with the IRS, over the million that have a 501c3 status, which again, it's kind of representative of our population being less than 0.5% of the entire American population who serve their country. And I think that there's a lot of gaps that still need to be filled, and I think some of those should be covered by policy, by changing those at the senior level to take care of not only our veterans, but all of those who supported us when we fought, our interpreters from foreign countries, the support personnel, contractors, at a minimum, have some sort of medical program that helps them for mental health and wellness and the physical. It shouldn't just be the ones that served for 4 years, but even those Marines and soldiers are having problems accepting and getting the benefits they're entitled to.
I would love to see you testify, because he's the chairman of the Veteran Affairs Committee. I would love to see you.
I sent Mike a letter. He's a Marine, and he's from my home state as well. So, so we've been in communication with his office, even though I'm in California. I always tie back into my home state.
Yeah.
All
I'll yell at him.
And where, if people weren't able to ride with you or they want to help your cause, where can they donate? Is there a website?
Absolutely. You can go to savethebrave.org, and you can check out the events tab, drop down Ride for the Brave, but you can just go and make a small donation. And that's a call to action to everyone, because everything we do for the past 8 years comes from support and donations from those we're connected with in the private sector. And, I always remind people, just think about what it costs for, $10 for a coffee, or $50 for a tank of gas, or $1,000 for a tank of gas in California. It's everybody has resources, and honestly, you may never see the impact of your donation, but you have to have faith and understand that you're part of helping solve a larger problem when we bring everybody together. And sometimes you will get that phone call from someone that you made an impact on, that it really makes a difference, because our metric of success, guys, is very qualitative. And those testimonials come back to us from those who've been out with us, and they're already starting to build that volunteer network of people who are basically alumni from the programs we've taken them out on.
All right. Thank you so much.
I love it.
Congratulations that you had a successful ride. We're glad you're safe. And again, if you want to help out, savethebrave.org is the website to go to. Major Scott Huesing, thank you so much for your time, and thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you, folks. I appreciate it.
And he joined us on our turn